Hi, Charlie Coltman here, CEO and founder of Cancer Life. Today's blog post is some news that came out from Susan B. Komen, the famous breast cancer nonprofit, in which they announced that the Philadelphia Pittsburgh operation is going to be closed. This is big news. Susan B. Komen, obviously, everyone knows, for many years has raised billions and billions of dollars to medical research. One of the first organizations to begin their fundraising around 5Ks and Walk for Breast Cancer, and that was their primary source. And then obviously adding the famous pink ribbon to every consumer brand out there. Going directly to corporations to support breast cancer research, which was quite innovative. I want to give them kudos for, you know, at least the money that they were raising was coming from across, multiple avenues and spectrums of providers. I mean, there will be a lot of folks that talk about the fact that only 30% or less than 30% of their money raised each year goes to actual research. That gives you the sense of how big their fundraising operation is. Um, but I mean, to say that that they're haven't contributed to the breast cancer cause is a little, I think, disingenuous. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about with this blog post is the question that I posed, which is, are cancer nonprofits dead? Um, I think over the last 3 years, Cancer Life has reached out to every cancer nonprofit of significance, both the big ones, and we all know who they are. I mean, I've been down to Atlanta at the American Cancer Society about 5 years ago, trying to do a partnership. Susan B. Komen, Living Beyond Breast Cancer, um, Cancer Support Community, which was the old Gilda's Club. I've spoken to all of them, right? And I even went to other smaller ones. And the thing that I tried to explain to them was that I felt that their business model was changing in terms of fundraising. I don't believe even this is before the pandemic, that people have the time to do 5K events. I mean, Livestrong is another prime example of an organization, Lance Armstrong, bike races, and that whole community. And when Lance left, I think after Lance left Livestrong, I think in their major, you know, bike race event, I think it was in Austin, maybe it was in Dallas. I think they lost like $1.6 million on that event alone. So, you know, the reality is I felt like these cancer nonprofits' days were really numbered. That ultimately they had to embrace a new business model, and that business model is data and research. It's shocking to all the nonprofits that I've spoken to over the years how lack of community that they've really created. I mean, a lot of them don't even are connected to patients. They're connected to the patients' families. Maybe they get these donations after the person has passed on. Their loved one has passed on, so they donate in their loved one's honor. But they really never really engaged and built a decent community. I mean, some of them have newsletters, but they rarely do they update the data in terms of what is their. When we tried to, for example, when we tried to engage one of the major breast cancer nonprofits, we asked them what their open rate is. The open rate would be a newsletter email. Like, what percentage of people were opening your emails? And they couldn't even answer. They don't even track the data. So they send out these newsletters, and I guess what I'm saying, to folks out there is I believe that the traditional methods of cancer nonprofit fundraising is but going by the way of the dinosaur. And if you're an existing cancer nonprofit and you're not thinking about research data and becoming a data company, you're really going to go by way of Susan B. Komen. And as I've tried to tell you all before, The Cancer Life platform is designed to collect patient-reported outcomes data, which doesn't exist, which is the hottest, most important data set that pharmaceutical companies are dying to understand the patient experience. So for cancer nonprofits, there's a few out there. I can think of Longevity as one. Um, a couple in lung cancer because immunotherapies and Keytruda is so critical, and there's so much money around it. Longevity is one. There's a couple more that are really pushing the envelope with research. The Multiple Myeloma Foundation is probably the premier cancer nonprofit in the space today, and they've been working in genetic cancer data for like 5 years now. So they're it when it comes to um, cancer research. But I'm telling you, all you nonprofits out there, if you're not thinking about data research specific to patients, um, you're going to be closing offices. So for those patients who think about these nonprofits and what it all means, um, it's a new day, and the best way that you can contribute, money is great. We know that there's a million places to take it. I recommend donating it to your local hospital, to the doctor or cancer team that helped you. But if you want to really get involved in nonprofit work, come to Cancer Life, engage on our platform and help other patients. I think that's the best way moving forward. Thank you.